I accidentally transmigrated into the role of the antagonist male supporting character in the book. According to the book's plot, as soon as I divorce my movie star wife, she'll throw $1 billion settlement in my face. To help her get together with her first love, I'm still diligently playing the part of the antagonist. But my movie star wife, who's been secretly married to me for 3 years, doesn't follow the script. After she exposed our relationship to the media, I ended up trending on social media that very night. While filming on set, I deliberately pushed Chloe's first love into the water. This broke Chloe's heart and she rushed him straight to the hospital. According to the book's plot, tonight she'll divorce me, then coldly and ruthlessly throw that $1 billion settlement in my face, telling me to get out of their lives forever. As I'm about to be written off, I struggle to hold back a grin. Pushing open the door to Chloe's office, I cross my arms, tilt my nose up, and put on my most arrogant troublemaking expression. Has Caleb kicked the bucket yet? Chloe looks up at me impatiently. My heart swelled with wild delight. Ha ha ha, I bet you're fuming. I'm being so vicious. Why don't you just throw the divorce papers and that $10 billion black card right in my face and tell me to get lost? Chloe smiled gently and said, he just caught a chill, a little medicine will have him right as rain. Her bland, indifferent reply really irked me. Is this the attitude a domineering female CEO should have when she wants a divorce? I kicked over her cherished vase, deliberately adding fuel to the fire. A petty thug like Caleb thinks he can steal my wife? Dream on. I'm not divorcing you. Not now, not ever. You two can forget about rekindling that old flame. Inside I was thinking, I've insulted your first love like this. Why aren't you cursing me out? Come on Chloe, throw that filthy money in my face. But to my surprise, Chloe showed not a hint of anger. Instead, she gazed at me with amused interest and chuckled. Don't worry, dear husband, I haven't prepared any black card and I have no intention of divorcing you. I froze in place instantly. What did that mean? Not getting a divorce? Wasn't I vicious enough? That shouldn't be. I've been acting like a homewrecker, exactly as the book described. Just as I was puzzling over why the plot seemed off, a warm embrace suddenly enveloped me from behind. Chloe hugged me, cooing gently, today is our 3rd wedding anniversary. I'll come home tonight to have dinner with you. Go get yourself ready. Ready my foot. I'm just a disposable side character in this book. Caleb is your main couple hero. 3 years ago I sneezed my way into this cheesy CEO novel, becoming Chloe's toxic ex-husband. My daily task was to make trouble for the male lead, throwing obstacles in the path of the main couple's reunion to earn that settlement and get out of the story ASAP. I diligently followed the plot day in and day out. At first everything went smoothly. He ran, she chased, neither could escape. Until 6 months ago when Chloe got into a car accident. Everything had turned strange. Chloe tore up all the photos with her first love and acted coldly toward Caleb, who had just returned from abroad. I reflected on whether I had been too harsh on the male supporting character. If the male lead wasn't pitiful enough, he couldn't win Chloe's heart back. So whenever there was a scene involving Caleb, I went all out, making it as intense as possible. As a result, Caleb suffered greatly at my hands, yet Chloe remained unmoved. I racked my brains but couldn't figure out what had gone wrong. Chloe's playful laughter came from outside the door. Honey, you've been hiding in the bathroom for an hour. If you don't come out soon, I'm coming in. Shrinking in the bathtub, I felt my hairs stand on end. Wasn't she supposed to stay chaste for Caleb? What was she planning with this candlelit dinner and black silk nurse outfit at home? Though Chloe's figure was top-notch and her face matched my taste, this was supposed to be a clean romance novel. No spicy scenes allowed. Chloe grinned mischievously. I'll count to 3. At 2.5 seconds I tremblingly opened the bathroom door. Chloe pinned me against the wall, her hand resting naturally on my shoulder, which made me curse inwardly in panic. Chloe slightly furrowed her brow and pressed a finger to my lips, whispering, be quiet, don't ruin the mood. Just as I was about to push her away, Chloe's phone rang. She ignored it completely and even tried to undo my buttons. My sharp eyes caught the caller ID. It was Caleb. Instantly the antagonist in me took over. I shoved Chloe away and gritted my teeth, snarling, what does Caleb want calling you so late? Ah, thank goodness for the male lead saving the day. On the other end of the line, Caleb coughed lightly, his weak voice as fragile as a breeze. Chloe, I'm so lonely here at the hospital all by myself. Could you come keep me company? Chloe replied coldly, not tonight. Her icy attitude made me frown in disbelief. Caleb had been trying to win her over ever since he returned to the country. How could there be zero progress? Caleb pleaded pitifully, Chloe, I know you hate me and blame me for choosing to leave you to study abroad back then, but you're the only one I can rely on here in the country. Chloe looked up at me and I guiltily turned my head away, pretending I hadn't heard anything. After all, giving the main couple some alone time was part of my duty as a dedicated supporting male character. To my surprise, Chloe just smiled and flatly refused. My husband would get jealous if I went out this late. If you're really bored, I can call a few nurses to keep you company. I cursed inwardly, jealous my foot. I wish you two would hurry up and make up, lock yourselves together and stop bothering me. I don't even get overtime pay for this. Suddenly Chloe leaned in and bit my neck hard. I couldn't help but gasp in pain. Caleb heard it and cautiously asked, Chloe, are you with Liam right now? Chloe released her bite, her eyes fixed on me with a clear warning. She replied impatiently, isn't it normal for me to be with my husband? Mr. Caleb, calling a married woman in the middle of the night is very rude, you know. Caleb sobbed, Chloe, have you really forgotten me? Forgotten our past? You said you'd only ever love me in this lifetime. Caleb's voice was slightly hoarse and even I was moved unexpectedly. Chloe coldly tossed out, let bygones be bygones, and then hung up the phone directly. I was stunned, feeling as if 10,000 curses were galloping through my mind. Are these two about to break up? That's not how the story was supposed to go. It should be you two reconciling and then teaming up to kick me out. Anxiously I cautiously asked Chloe, are you really not going to the hospital to accompany Caleb? She kept nuzzling her head against me, pouting and coquettishly saying, yes, you're my husband, how could I go out to accompany another man? From now on I'll only spoil and love you, okay? I forced a smile. Good, my foot. I don't have that much screen time. Adding scenes means adding money. Chloe pressed her body close to me again, her scorching gaze seeming to melt me. I retreated in fear, but she advanced step by step until she had me cornered. Chloe smirked mischievously. Husband, shouldn't we continue? I swallowed hard with difficulty. Continue what? My eyes uncontrollably drifted downward. This woman was usually quite aloof, wasn't she? A handsome guy like me with 8-pack abs had been lying beside her for 3 years without stirring any reaction, so why was she suddenly acting crazy tonight? Chloe's face instantly darkened. She grabbed my wrist, forcibly placed my hand on her waist and gritted her teeth as she complained, of course it's to fulfill my duty as a wife lest someone behind my back accuse me of being cold. I was startled inwardly, if not for having had a god's eye view before transmigrating into this book, knowing that Chloe was just an ordinary domineering female CEO character in the story, with no special abilities aside from her money-making skills. I might have really thought she had mind reading. I laughed guiltily, deliberately changing the subject. Honey, didn't the doctor tell you to rest more? Does your head still hurt? But inside I was thinking, I get it now, it must be that accident half a year ago. The car crash must have scrambled her brains. Maybe once she recovers the derailed plot will get back on track. I tried to console myself inwardly, but Chloe remained completely unmoved. With a few quick motions she undid her buttons. The moment her skin pressed against mine I gasped in refusal. No, I can't. Chloe flashed a mischievous grin. A man should never say he can't, you know. My face flushed crimson and I stammered weakly, really I can't, my lower back has been hurting lately. I can't handle any strenuous activity. Seizing her moment of stunned silence I hastily retreated into the bathroom. That night I lay in bed tossing and turning until dawn, unable to sleep. What a pity. Why did my back have to ache right now? Otherwise I might have been able to collect a little interest from her. The next day Chloe's heavy dark circles startled me. She glared at me angrily and warned, from now on no more wild thoughts before bed. I was utterly baffled. Wait, did she have trouble sleeping too? When I arrived on set to film I saw Caleb, who had already been there for a while. He covered his mouth with a light cough, playing the part of a frail, delicate young man so convincingly that even the director felt a pang of sympathy. Mr. Caleb is still unwell, the director said. Let's shoot the kissing scene with a body double for now. Who would have thought that Caleb, this tough young man, insisted on filming for real? It's fine with me. Acting should be taken seriously. I can't let my personal issues hold back the whole crew. The director even gave him a thumbs up, praising his dedication to the role. Smugly Caleb whispered a challenge to me. Mr. Lin, don't go easy on me later, alright? Unnecessary, all of it was unnecessary. He didn't need to provoke me at all. I was even more eager to wrap this up than he was. I flexed my wrist and caught sight of Chloe coming to supervise, instantly perking up. Slipping effortlessly into a vicious expression, I timed it perfectly with Caleb finishing his line and raised my hand to deliver a slap. He immediately collapsed to the ground. Wow, talk about being cooperative. I hadn't even touched him and he'd already fallen. If this is how we're playing it, I'm getting excited. I quickly called for a cut and improvised, director, it looks like Caleb's been knocked out by my slap. Everyone rushed over to check on Caleb. Chloe, under the director's pleading gaze, helped him up, ready to take him to the hospital, but just then Caleb woke up. Caleb, who was trying hard to maintain his kind persona, feared Chloe would blame me and quickly defended me, saying, don't blame Liam, I accidentally fell on my own. I immediately poured fuel on the fire, stepping forward to take the blame. No, I did it on purpose, and thoughtfully justified my malice with a plausible reason. This slap is to make you remember. Chloe is not someone you can even dream of. Caleb bit his lower lip hard, turning his face away with a pitiful expression, looking every bit the fragile young man that anyone would feel sorry for. I sneered coldly, thinking, without me the antagonist as a foil, his acting skills are just mediocre. I willingly shoulder the blame and take the criticism. Ask any antagonist who can be more professional than me. I'm the next Oscar-winning actor, oh ho ho. Just as I was gloating inwardly, Chloe poured cold water on the relationship between me and Caleb, exposing it expressionlessly. The slapping scene just now was too fake. Liam didn't even touch your face. Since you're fine, let's reshoot this scene. I was stunned, Caleb was stunned, and all the staff on set froze in place. At that moment only the director stepped forward to echo Chloe's words. That's right, I saw it with my own eyes alongside the movie star in front of SXJ just now. That shot did look a bit fake. Exposed, the two of us were left in an awkward state. One of us cringing so hard we could dig a hole with our toes, the other two ashamed to lift our head. During the reshoot of the face-slapping scene, Caleb took a solid slap from me, his cheek immediately reddening. He turned his head away, glaring at me with fierce resentment. Feeling guilty, I muttered under my breath, blame Chloe for this, we were cooperating just fine. Who asked her to come and ruin it? Caleb, aggrieved, said, sorry Mr. Jiang, your voice was too soft. I didn't quite catch that. Ahem, what I said was, your place in Chloe's heart isn't all that significant. She told me just yesterday that she'll only love me from now on, so I'd advise you to give up on her sooner rather than later. I deliberately said this to provoke him. Sure enough, Caleb immediately took the next step. Throughout the following shoot he kept finding ways to stick close to Chloe's side, even going so far as to bribe the director to intentionally add more romantic scenes between them, determined to make Chloe reminisce about the sweetness of her first love. I was enjoying a rare moment of leisure, deliberately finding all sorts of excuses to slip away from the scene, leaving the male and female leads some alone time. Just as I was sipping a drink at the nightclub with a girl on my arm, my manager called. She anxiously asked, "How did you get dragged into the trending topics again?" I instantly sobered up halfway. I quickly opened Twitter and sure enough there it was. The trending title read, "Liam the simp consumed by jealousy slaps movie star's first love twice." It turned out that my confrontation with Caleb on set along with my reckless remarks had been maliciously edited and hyped up. Seeing the 3 million views and the rising heat, I finally breathed a sigh of relief. Thank goodness, I thought. I was worried Chloe might jump in and ruin the effect of Caleb dragging me down. My manager barely held back from cursing on the spot. "You're worried Caleb won't drag you down? Fine, I'm done with you. Keep digging your own grave. You're about to bury yourself for good." Buzzed from the alcohol I chuckled, "Thanks for the good wishes. Once I'm thoroughly disgraced and successfully written off I'll definitely send you a big red envelope." My manager was speechless. I appreciate that, I guess. Looking back on these 3 years since transmigrating into the book, I've really gone to great lengths to maintain my simp persona. Wherever Chloe went to film I joined the crew. Whatever variety show Chloe appeared on I'd trot along like a loyal puppy, tagging behind her as a background prop. All that groundwork was laid just for this moment of being universally hated online. After all, the book said my fate as the cannon fodder ex-husband was to be driven out of the entertainment industry by public outrage, then angrily exit the stage with the settlement Chloe gave during the divorce, $10 billion, to live a lavish carefree single life as a tycoon. Although there's been a slight hiccup now, the divorce didn't go through smoothly. Being ruined and scolded into leaving the industry can still speed up my retirement process. I opened the comments section, watching each insulting message fly at me like gold coins smacking right into my face. In a moment of joy I hugged the girl beside me and boldly promised, "Stick with me from now on. Once I get that settlement I'll give you $1 billion straight up. How about that?" After partying half the night it was the waiter who called me a ride home. I never expected Chloe to be waiting downstairs for me. Seeing me stumble out of the taxi drunk, she suppressed her anger, dragged me to a corner and demanded, "Don't tell me you're drowning your sorrows in alcohol because you're upset about being criticized by haters." I clung tightly to my sugar mommy Chloe's leg and grumbled discontentedly, "I am drowning my sorrows, but the sorrow is why you still haven't divorced me. The yacht and luxury car are all ready. I'm just waiting for the divorce papers and that $1 billion to hit my account." Chloe grabbed my shoulders, gritting her teeth, and said, "What did you say? Say it again." I let out a drunken burp, my head lolled, and I passed out completely. When I woke up the next day Chloe was nowhere to be found. I couldn't care less where she went. Excitedly I jumped out of bed and opened the trending list. The top entry on the homepage read, "Firmly boycott the dog. Liam must leave the entertainment industry for good." Among the angry haters were even some hired by my manager to clean up my image. At this point nothing can stop me from speaking my mind. I grabbed the keyboard and fired off 3 tweets in rapid succession to stir up trouble. That's right, I deliberately slapped Caleb in the face. If he dares to covet the woman I have my eyes on, he should pay the price. So what if Chloe doesn't like me? I'll just keep her to myself. If Caleb dares to bother Chloe again I still won't let him off easy. Every word I say dances right on the edge of the audience's moral boundaries. Even my manager can't be bothered to deal with me anymore. I'm beyond saving. Just let me fade into obscurity. I sent a message to console him. So what if I get cursed out of the industry? It's no big deal. I'll pay whatever the contract termination fee is, and I'll even give you a big red envelope as a bonus. Consider it my apology for all your hard work over the years. A long time passed before my manager replied, and he was practically shaking me through the screen. "No way, Liam. You've hit the jackpot, you know that? Check out movie star Chloe's Twitter. She just announced you and even posted the marriage certificate." What? I frantically clicked into her profile. 5 minutes ago Chloe had publicly posted our wedding photo with the caption, "My husband loves me too much," which is why he spoke out of turn on a public platform. Please be understanding, fans. Also, Mr. Caleb, please show some self-respect. After all, I am a married woman. Instantly the internet exploded. No one could believe that Chloe, the movie star who once said in an interview that she would never forget Caleb, had actually married a nobody like me, and to protect me she publicly distanced herself from Caleb. If that's the case, then Liam isn't the third wheel intruding on someone else's relationship. Caleb is. Wow, after all this time cursing him out, it turns out the scheming one was Caleb all along. So when Liam posted that furious tweet blasting Caleb earlier, it wasn't him being crazy, it was the original partner making a public statement. Mind-blowing. Staring at the comments section where public opinion had abruptly shifted, I was utterly baffled. This plotline wasn't in the book at all. I hurriedly called Chloe, but she hung up. Then she texted me back, "In a meeting." I didn't dare waste a single moment. Grabbing my briefcase and rushing to her office, she looked up from her work, raising an eyebrow at me. "No need to be too moved. This is just my duty as your wife." Panting heavily I glared at her, cursing inwardly, moved my foot. "What I want is to divorce you." "Divorce? Why didn't you ask for my opinion before publicly announcing our marital relationship?" My slightly displeased tone made Chloe frown, but her voice remained as gentle as ever. "What's wrong, husband? Isn't this what you've always wanted?" Her words left me speechless. Indeed, during my time as her devoted follower I had said such things, but that was all an act, a deliberate performance for the persona. Chloe set down her pen, stood up and walked over to me. She reached out, gently wiping the sweat from the tip of my nose with her fingers. Lowering her stance, she cooed at me. Ever since we became husband and wife, it's always been you giving to me one-sidedly. 3 years. Even a hard stone would have warmed up by now. From now on I'll stick close to you, love you well, and not give any other person a chance, okay? I forced a smile. Really, honey? I'm so happy, but inside I was thinking, I'm about to be happy to death. What the hell is going on with this damn plot? Might as well just kill me off. Just then there was a commotion outside the door. The office door suddenly swung open from the outside, and the first person to burst in was Caleb, seething with anger. Right behind him were 2 building security guards. We couldn't stop this gentleman. He insisted on coming up. Seeing Chloe's icy glare, Caleb couldn't help but question her. Chloe, why won't you see me? Seeing this, I tactfully led the security guards away and thoughtfully closed the door to give the 2 some private space, but because I was genuinely worried about how things would unfold, I quietly cracked the door open a sliver to eavesdrop on their conversation. Chloe's attitude remained cold. Mr. Caleb, do you have business with me? I couldn't help but click my tongue twice. It seemed Chloe really had been knocked silly by that accident. She didn't even care about the main male lead anymore. Caleb slammed his fist on the table, radiating boundless fury. Chloe, why would you do this to me? Do you have any idea that your clarification has completely ruined my career since returning to the country? The Chloe I once knew would never have done something to hurt me like this. Chloe coldly cut him off. Mr. Caleb, I've already shown consideration for our past relationship, otherwise based solely on you deliberately spending money to buy trending topics and stirring up online hate against my husband. I would never have let you off so easily. It wasn't me, Chloe. We've known each other for 8 years, been together for 2. Don't you trust my character? Caleb was still stubbornly resisting, refusing to admit anything. I get it now, it must be Liam behind this, trying to drive a wedge between us. Everyone knows he's always been jealous of me. Chloe, you mustn't let him deceive you. Hiding outside the door, I nervously dug my fingers into the doorframe. Logically, in the book, the domineering female CEO would believe the male lead without question, but with Chloe, why had things changed? I vaguely saw that the black card, which should have been thrown in my face, was tossed in front of Caleb. She said, the money in here is enough for you to live abroad for the rest of your life. From now on, never appear in the sight of me and Liam again. I was dumbfounded. Damn it, why was everything used on Caleb? And that black card worth $1 billion? It should have been my rightful reward. Why was it given to Caleb too? Caleb looked heartbroken. Chloe, displeased, said, don't say any more, let's leave some last shred of dignity for each other. Then Caleb was kicked out. I didn't escape in time and was caught red-handed by him. Caleb's eyes, red with fury, glared at me, blaming me for stealing his woman, while I glared back fiercely, blaming him for taking my money. Liam, you win, Caleb said in front of me, snapping the black card in two. At that moment my heart was bleeding. Looking back on the 3 years since I transmigrated into this book, whenever I was on the verge of collapse, the $1 billion settlement was the motivation that kept me going, but now this money actually went to Caleb. Damn it. With trembling hands I carefully picked up the snapped black card from the floor, feeling utterly helpless. Can this damn thing even still be used? Before I could recover from the grief of losing $1 billion, this incident ignited my rage. Just like that, we fought from the company all the way downstairs, throwing punches that landed hard and without mercy until my left arm was dislocated and he broke a rib, and we were both sent to the hospital. Seeing Chloe tenderly taking care of me, Caleb's heart was completely shattered. As he was slinking away from the hospital, I called out to him with a grave expression. I proposed, wait, I think it's time for us to join forces. Caleb halted in his tracks, bewildered. I sighed, slowly clenching the broken half of the black card tightly, as I made up my mind. All along I had firmly believed that as long as I followed the plot seriously I could smoothly survive until the end, but I never expected that the current storyline had already veered so far off course. If I didn't intervene to pull the main plot back on track, it probably wouldn't work out. Caleb wants the person, I want the money. Our goals are clear and aligned. As long as we join forces, I believe we can definitely steer toward the grand finale. That night Chloe received the news that both Caleb and I had been kidnapped, along with a demand for $1 billion in ransom to rescue us. Yes, this was the grand scheme Caleb and I had teamed up to stage. I sat leisurely on a seaside rock, munching on an apple while glancing sideways at the nervous Caleb beside me. So has Chloe agreed to pay the ransom? Caleb replied tensely, yes, she's already on her way here with the money. Still somewhat distrustful, Caleb cautiously studied my face and asked, are you sure this will really work? I looked impatient. Will it work or not? Do you have any other plan to win Chloe back? I left him speechless. I knew Caleb might not trust me, but I also knew he was out of options with Chloe. He had no choice but to obediently follow my arrangements, a desperate gamble, like treating a dead horse as if it were alive. I tossed away the fruit pit and patted his shoulder reassuringly. Don't worry, buddy, as long as everything goes according to plan, Chloe will come back to you sooner or later. Caleb asked warily, why are you helping me? I'm not helping you, I replied, I'm helping myself. Soon Chloe arrived at the agreed-upon location. Caleb and I were tied up by the kidnappers with a cliff and the sea right beneath our feet. In the darkness, Chloe anxiously threw a card to the kidnappers. I've brought the money, now let them go. I shot the kidnapper a meaningful look. She pocketed the card and smoothly recited the lines we'd rehearsed beforehand. Listen up, Chloe, with this $1 billion ransom you can only save one person. Choose your first love or this pathetic lapdog. You have 2 minutes to decide, or I'll push both of them over. Chloe's face flushed with anger. You're playing games with me. The kidnapper was startled by Chloe's icy aura. It was only after I desperately reminded her that she snapped back to reality, sneering, isn't this the kind of despicable tactic often used in business wars? I'm just applying what I've learned. Perfect. She just flawlessly explained the kidnapper's identity and intentions. Next it was Caleb's turn to perform Save Liam. He said, I know there's no place for me in your heart anymore. Since that's the case, why not let me be the one to die? I have to admit, Caleb's acting was still on point, fragile yet resilient, strong yet sentimental. He gazed deeply at Chloe and declared, I just hope that after I'm gone, you'll remember me forever. The kidnapper nudged me discreetly, signaling it was my turn for a final farewell, but I hadn't prepared any lines at all. Seeing this, the kidnapper had no choice but to take over and continue. So, have you decided who's going to die? Chloe refused to back down, but her eyes kept darting nervously toward me. I want both of them to live, she insisted. I figured if we dragged this out any longer, she'd end up choosing Caleb to die. To prevent that from happening, I deliberately pretended to slip, my body tumbling straight off the cliff. Amid the howling sea wind, I faintly heard Chloe's heart-wrenching cry, Liam. Seawater desperately flooded my nostrils and ears as my body slowly sank. Then I broke free from the ropes and, under the cover of night, swam frantically 5 kilometers back to shore. Collapsing on the beach, I threw my head back and roared with laughter, ha ha ha. I've finally made my exit from the script. Yachts, luxury cars, and my sister, here I come, ready for a carefree retirement. After my character's exit from the story, I cashed out all the assets those men had envied in my bachelor life. With the money in hand, I immediately bought a yacht, planning to sail around the Pacific, and as promised, gave my sister $1 billion. My sister was the kidnapper I'd hastily recruited as an extra that night. She handed me a glass of champagne, worriedly asking, won't Chloe come after us? I took a sip, squinting my eyes in feigned confidence, and reassured her, relax, we're in the middle of the Pacific now. Even if Chloe had all the power in the world, she'd never find us. I had just started to relax when suddenly, with a loud thud, I was jolted right off my chair. I took off my sunglasses and looked around in a panic. What was going on? Was the yacht about to hit a reef and sink? My sister cautiously reminded me, Chloe is catching up. Following her pointing finger, I saw Chloe standing on another yacht, staring at me with an intense gaze that sent a chill down my spine. Damn, Chloe really had come after me. This couldn't be real, could it? I had already faked my death 3 times. Had Caleb given away my whereabouts? The yacht was forced to a stop. Chloe grabbed my arm and forcibly dragged me back. During the 2 days on the road, she didn't say a single word to me. The immense anger she was hiding made me shrink into a corner, too scared to speak. In my mind, I was desperately searching for a way to save myself. Otherwise, I'd just deny being Liam and pretend to be a stranger who just happened to look like him. Forget it, I'll just pretend not to know her. I licked my dry lips and was about to speak when Chloe beat me to it. Are you planning to deny being Liam and pretend you don't know me? How did she know? Chloe stared at me with a cold sneer. Actually, ever since the car accident half a year ago, I've gained the ability to read minds. And stop cursing me in your thoughts right now. I didn't believe it and tested it in my mind. Chloe is a big idiot. Her face darkened as she slammed her palm heavily on the table, gritting her teeth. I said, don't curse me in your thoughts. I was utterly stunned. Seriously, can anyone tell me why in this book, an ordinary female CEO unexpectedly awakened mind-reading abilities after a car accident? And she's been secretly listening to my inner thoughts for over half a year, all while acting so sly. That means she heard every single time I cursed her in my mind. No wonder the plot has been veering off course. The more I think about it, the more terrifying it becomes. Chloe fixed her gaze on my eyes. Afraid she might hear my thoughts again, I hastily began reciting Ode to the Goose, 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 with neck curved toward the sky it sings, white feathers float on green water, red webbed feet paddle clear waves. After finishing, I repeated it over and over until I had cycled through it 39 times. Chloe couldn't take it anymore. Chloe angrily stepped forward, pinning me against the white wall as she demanded, why did you deceive me? Are you so eager to leave my side? Quack, 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 craning my neck to sing to the sky, white feathers. Enough, Liam. I blinked my eyes, putting on an innocent face. But according to the book's plot, I should have been written off long ago. And Caleb is your destined lover. How can I, an antagonist, really compete with the male lead for a woman? Chloe gritted her red lips in anger. I don't care if this is a book or reality. The one I like is you, not Caleb. I wore a pitiful expression. But, Chloe sighed helplessly. No buts. Even if the sky were to fall, there are taller people to hold it up. What are you afraid of? I smacked my lips. But Caleb is here. He's standing right behind you. Forcing a confession like this with me isn't really appropriate, is it? Chloe slowly released me and turned around. Caleb stood at the doorway in a white suit, his face pale. His immediate reaction upon being exposed was to shift the blame onto me. Let me explain. The fake third-party incident wasn't my doing. The mastermind behind it is actually. Chloe was displeased. I know you weren't the mastermind behind this. Caleb forced a weak smile. So, you still blame me, don't you? Chloe lowered her eyelids, her long lashes casting a shadow across her face. She continued helplessly, I don't blame you, Caleb. Why can't you understand? Between us, it ended long ago. Ever since the car accident 6 months ago, I gained the ability of mind reading from Liam. It was then that I discovered I was merely a fictional character from a book, one of 6. I was created with the sole purpose of meeting and falling in love with you. What I should say at this moment. My entire life was scripted from the moment I came into existence. Honestly, I didn't care about that. The only thing I ever cared about was you, Caleb. I overheard Liam saying that the reason you went abroad to study was to free up time to pursue other female characters. At first, I refused to believe it, until I went overseas to find you myself. I saw you using the same methods, the same tactics, to win over one woman after another, just like me. You looked so happy, so carefree, as if you had completely forgotten I ever existed. Caleb panicked. He hurried to explain, Chloe, it's not what you think. What I felt for them was nothing like what I feel for you. I truly love you. Chloe smiled, biting her red lips hard. I admit I used to like you a lot, but that's all in the past. You should go, and never come back. As the two of them tangled, I was inwardly panicking. Ah, so that's how it is. I indirectly caused the plot to deviate, leading to the breakup of the male and female leads. Will the world in the book collapse? Will it erase me completely? I nervously rubbed the goosebumps on my arms in fear. I saw Caleb toss out a cold, heartless line, I'm leaving, Chloe. Don't you dare regret this. Then he turned and walked away. Panicked, I tried to slip away, but Chloe, quick as lightning, grabbed me. Instinctively, I muttered in my mind, oh no, oh no. She gently cupped my face and whispered a warning, darling, you'll never escape from my side in this lifetime. Epilogue, Caleb truly never appeared again. I kept worrying that my failure as the antagonist would lead to this world erasing me, but I waited and waited through the birth of our child, kindergarten, elementary school, and middle school, and nothing unusual happened. Chloe withdrew from the entertainment industry, taking me to fulfill our dream of sailing around the Pacific. Sitting at the bow of the ship, I couldn't help but reflect. The plot had completely veered off course. What if, in the future, our child Sinran and I were to leave this story? How would Chloe manage here all alone? Suddenly, a warm embrace enveloped me from behind. Chloe held me close, her lips brushing my ear as she whispered, don't worry, my love. If the story ever restarts, I'll find a way to reach you again. And if it's not me next time? I asked. Then I'll wait, she murmured, and keep waiting, until it's you. The end.